Hi, this is Cynthia Ortiz. It is the 13th of October, 2021 at 2:05 p.m. It is Wednesday. And these are the Charles Perry Stalker podcast. We need to always give the disclaimer, use allegedly, please, when accusations are made or asserted. Use the reasonable person standard, what reasonable people would do in any given set of circumstances. That is the law. And use the but for standard. And but for Mr. Perry harassing me all the time, there wouldn't be a need for a podcast about it, would there? So, okay, so the way that this has worked is Mr. Perry we have a witness that says he goes around, he trolls women, finds women who are divorced with kids when they're not home against their will, without their knowledge or consent. He has either the landlord or the maintenance guy or a locksmith get him in the house. He will install hidden cameras. Then he'll broadcast them all over the net, all over the world, and sells watch time. He's a sexual sadist, so he enjoys getting women hysterical so he can go rub one out. And I'm quoting the witness. Because I usually say jack off. So the witness uses the term rub one out. Now, BTK was the same, so keep that in mind. This is a criminology deal, not just nobody's trying to hurt Mr. Perry's feelings. He is a criminal. His crimes are sex crimes. We got to talk about that, unfortunately. The guy, when you broadcast a woman and children on the dark web for someone to obtain some sort of gratification, they're not paid, they don't know, it's against their will, it's illegal. You're a sex offender. You're not, hot, sexy guy that everybody, women are just flocking to you. You are a sex offender. You're like Jeff Epstein, and Lucky and Mike were talking about that just hours before that murder. We got a Jeff Epstein right there in Manford. They were about to get your ass, and you knew it. We know exactly who killed that Lucky and tried to kill Mike. And so the witness says he then gets them fired from their job, and he hacks them so they can't find work, and then they lose their house, and then he has the ex take the kids away. He loves getting women upset. He's a sexual sadist. He's got a sex dysfunction problem, and Mr. Perry has done nothing but prove that guy right. You can't just take a witness coming in and take everything they say like, oh yeah, that's the gospel. You have to prove it. And Mr. Perry has done that for us. So he did that to me. He's doing it to me now. Starvation, torture, and torment of women and children. So it's a crime to put a voyeur. Voyeurism is a crime in all 50 states. Stalking is a crime in all 50 states. Harassment is a crime in all 50 states. Invading privacy is and I'm not just talking about putting cameras in the home. I'm talking about watching bank accounts he shouldn't know anything about. Watching emails and texts he shouldn't know anything about. Many ways he's hacking. All of those that's criminal activity, and he can't argue that he's got enough of a mind disease to give him the insanity defense, because the insanity defense relies on the fact that the disease makes it where that is not known as a crime to the person committing the act. And Mr. Perry then goes into RICO violations: witness tampering, perjury, fraud, mail fraud, coercion, obstruction of justice, witness tampering. Those are RICO violations, Title 18 of the United States Code, over and over and over and over. Those are also acts showing consciousness of guilt. You knew what you were doing was crime, and you tried to cover it up. Destruction of evidence. These podcasts, he'll cause skips in them, or he'll shut it off. Mr. Perry, that is altering my evidence. You just can't get it. You just can't stop yourself, can you? So usually what happens is I'll get information from police that are helping me. There's 40 cops, Mr. Perry. Most of us are Christians. If you want to know who they are, we hear. Okay, let me back up a little bit. We are in the process of all of this. We understand Mr. Perry's in the occult. The comments were, a lot of these guys say they're Christians, but they're all in the occult. They practice witchcraft. They practice sorcery and divination. They probably do curses over Cynthia and have a voodoo doll. Funniest thing is I go in a restaurant and a witch approaches me and gave me her name. It's in a different podcast. I can't recall what it was now. I hear a lot of names all the time. asked me if the voodoo doll was working. So apparently there is one. What you want to use that to torment me or something? Paul, I gave a reference in the Bible of Paul. He was a hero of the faith, that he had a stalker tormenting him. Is that a Satan thing? Okay, well, what you're getting for what you're doing, when you cause drama for me, when you torment and pester and bother, when you contact me, when you peep on me, when you cause loss and hardship for me, and the longer Mike Nealey sits in jail, the harder my 40 cops go at you. One of them has a granny that prays with us too, by the way. What are you getting for those results? You're caught. You don't have a cover-up. $25 million pissed away. You didn't cover up shit. That's a lot of money. No one's caught you in your crime more than we have they? So, when you bother me, when you pester me, when you contact me, when you cause a problem for me, when I have hardship, when I can't pay a bill, when I have a problem, they go at you harder because we want y'all in jail so that doesn't happen again. It's not likely I'll be broke ever again in my life after this is over. Unless I just go on some kind of weird spending spree, which I'm not going to do. But I won't be broke again, and you won't be around to harass me or take my money or cause hardship or cause a problem ever again. You'll be gone. And we all know Mr. Perry's trying to frame me for a murder because the cops investigating him told me about it. He's trying to frame you for a murder. He needs a cover-up. He needs a lie. Acts showing consciousness of guilt. You know what you're doing is wrong, and you're trying to cover it up. And everybody has known that. We've said it over and over and over and over and over. You have 6 elder care physicians, Mr. Perry, that have looked over your recordings, your emails, our files. No way he doesn't have Alzheimer's. There's no way. He needs a brain scan and medication. And your wife has some liability in that. Because her responsibility is to, if you're a threat to yourself or others, check you into a hospital. She can sign those papers. So she's liable too. When you met me, life as you knew ended. Because you've been doing this stuff forever. And you got caught this time. When you met me, you get caught. When you mess with me, you get caught. You don't get a cover-up and you don't get a date. Nobody wants you. You're alone. You're rejected. You didn't find a great new way to pick up chicks. You make everybody want to scream, throw things at you, vomit on you. You're not wanted. You're alone. You keep trying to tell me how you feel. Mr. Perry hacked my phone. He's always typing in my phone, trying to talk to me. I said I don't care. I said I don't care. I said I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Get off. Get off me. Get out of my phone. Get off me. Get off me. Because when you mess with me, you get caught. That's my goal. My goal is not to have a date with you. You're weirdo. If you want to be wanted, if you want people to be interested in you, then you got to be interesting. And all you do is sit around all day and do what a 2-year-old little girl can do. You sit around, watch TV, pretending. I already know what I did all day. So if I were to go to dinner with you, you're boring. You're bizarre and you're boring. You're watching me in the privacy of my home against my will without my consent. I already know what I did today. I don't want to hear it from you. I want to hear what you did. I want to hear that you did something interesting. Because right now you're just a bizarre bore. You're watching me in my home against my will. It's a crime, not a date. You're watching me in the privacy of my home against my will, Mr. Perry. It is a crime in all 50 states to do that. You don't have my consent. Mr. Perry, I'm going to say this to you one more time. You are watching me in the privacy of my home against my will. You're contacting me against my will. I don't care what you think. I asked you not to contact me. I didn't ask you what you thought. You keep trying to talk to me like you really believe I give a shit. And I've said it over and over and over. And you got 6 elder care physicians that believe with everything in them you have symptoms of Alzheimer's because you're told the same thing over and over and over and over. And you are 20 bricks shy of a load. You don't get it, do you? Easy concepts do not click for you, do they? How embarrassing. You should be embarrassed by your conduct. Your conduct, you can't be normal, can you? You don't have that kind of power. You're an embarrassment. You're pathetic. You cannot do anything more than a little girl could do. Sit around watching TV, playing with dolls and unicorns. So we hear you're in the occult. Your occult Is this true? Are you in the occult? Do you do divination? Do you practice witchcraft? Because you stand up and ask people to vote for you because you're a Christian. Are you into witchcraft? Do you have a dolly? When I make reference to a dolly, or the people that post on this make reference to a dolly, that's what we're talking about. Because we keep hearing about this voodoo doll he's got of me that he wants to use to torment me because he gets off on that. He's a sexual sadist, just like our witness says. And I had a witch ask me about it. She shows up at a restaurant where I am. Well, how'd she know where I was? To walk in and ask me that question. Is this true? You're not a Christian and you want people to vote for you and you're actually in the occult and you have a voodoo doll? Is that true, Mr. Perry? Because we all need to deal with the truth and the facts like they really are. Reality. This is reality. You make a call this morning and ask somebody who's telling her, who's helping her. And the guy says, it's not, as far as we can see, she's got no connection to the CIA and no relative within the FBI. But nobody's going to talk. You're killing people. You're a threat. Nobody's going to take the knife out of your hand and slit their own throat with it. Is that correct? Were you told that today? See, last week it was, I didn't go to Zeos. I didn't shut the bank account down that you helped yourself to. I didn't go dance. And I didn't call the Duvals. All of which you wanted me to do. I don't give cigarettes to my friends that don't smoke. Why would they ask? Why would they ask? Did you, you're off your nut. All day, every day. I get it, Mr. Perry, that you were raped as a child. So was Oprah Winfrey. You've abused me for 10 years. You have tormented and tortured, one way or the other, doll or not. You cause hardship and problem and hardship and problem. You take up my time. Let me tell you something. If there's let's just say, I'm going to do a hypothetical, but kind of it's real thing with you. You got people using tax money to fight your crime, and it's taking up my time. It's taking up my time. So my hours are added up that you bother me and that you have me. I have to drop everything and deal with your shit. They're going to get that from you. My hourly wages are worth something. They're worth something to somebody. And there are taxpayers that don't want to pay that. So you're going to have to pay for every minute of my day that you take up having to deal with your shit. You and David and Josh and Joe and Matt. All 5 of you. When you're in prison, we don't have to deal with that crap anymore. So what do you think we want? We being the victims of your crime. When you're using my time that could be used and taxpayers are having to pay for my time. See, I'm not paid right now. They know you're all up in my bank accounts. So they're not going to give me money in a way that could be traced back to them. But if the taxpayers are paying all of that in some form, now or later, and that money should have been used for different things, they're going to make you pay it. They're going to make you pay it. So every minute of my day, Mr. Perry, you take up bothering me when you get caught. When you bother me, you're alone. You don't have a date. It's been 10 years. There's no date. I get up every morning with one goal in mind. Metaphorically, kick your balls up into your brain as hard as I can. Fuck up your crime as best I can. And the day you met me, you did this shit all your life and got away with it. Until you met me, life as you knew it ended. Boom, just right there. It ended, didn't it? All of a sudden, it's over for you, Dave, Josh, Joe, and Matt. And all your crime that you got away with all your life. When you met me, all of a sudden, everything changed. And you're not getting away with it now. Are you? $25 million did not cover up a fucking thing. You're the MRSA of the organization of which you are part of that does all this sexual exploitation crap, human rights violations. It makes it very difficult for somebody to go into. Again, I'm not saying this is. I'm going to give you hypotheticals because I can't tell anybody what the actual thing is. But let's say you got ambassador or somebody going to another country trying to negotiate something, and that other and they've got some leverage, and the leverage is human rights violations, and the other country goes, "I'm sorry, you have no leverage because we've got a crime reported to us, and that crime would be the human rights violations of women in America. You've got some guys out of Texas starving, tormenting, and torturing women and exploiting them and their kids all over the net, all over the world, right in my country. You're going to kind of make that situation difficult, aren't you? You're going to make some situations very difficult. And I don't think you need to be doing that. Nobody does. Nobody does. So you can call anybody you want to call. Nobody's going to tell you anything because you're a threat. You're dangerous. Nobody's going to take the knife out of your hand and slit their own throat with it. Asking my friends to, and that's the bigger scope, and the small petty bullshit you do. Ask my friends that don't smoke, get her cigarette. Well, duly noted for the record, you tried to do that. Duly noted for the record, and also duly noted for the record, Sin, he's trying to do another murder frame up. My guys know. Let me tell you something. I hate Charles Perry. I hate him. I used to live in Vegas. You don't think I can make a phone call and you disappear. You're Jimmy Hoffa. And there is no more problems. There is no more hardship. There is no more nothing. There's no more peeping. There's nothing. It's over. Except I'm not the murdering kind. That's not my thing. You're raped as a kid, Charles. And you can't control what happens to you. You can't. You can't control what other people do. But you can control how you react to it. You can use it as an excuse to fail. You rape me in my house every day. You're a rapist. You're not wanted. It's not a date. You're alone. You act like a little girl. Drama queen. Plays with your doll and your unicorn. And watch TV pretending. There's nothing interesting about you. You're not wanted. If you want people to be interested in you, be interesting person. Not sitting around being a bizarre bore. Strange-o. Weirdo. Pervert. Deviant. There's fetish clubs, Charles, that you can go to and peep, and you don't go to jail for that. That's the right setting for your deviancy. So there's deviancy. Might be weirdo. It's outside social norms. But it's not illegal in that setting. But when you put a camera in a woman's home, then it is. Now it's criminal deviancy. It's offensive to everybody else. If it were hot and sexy, all guys would do it. All guys don't do it because it's not hot and sexy. It's a turnoff. That's why you're alone 10 years later. No date, no nothing, and no cover up. Because you're pissing everybody off with this. When you met me, life as you knew it ended. Boom, all of a sudden. You didn't get a date, you just get caught. My goal is you're in jail and you can't hurt us anymore. You cannot hurt us anymore. So when you try to tell me how you feel and what you think, I'm like, oh my God, wow, really? I didn't ask you. What I asked you to do is do not contact me again. You want to know who's helping me? Go consult your little Ouija board. There's a post here about that. My posts are emails copied and pasted a lot of times. They're sent out. So, in it, I don't even remember where it is. In it, I misspelled Ouija. Wherever that post is, somebody put it up. It's copied and pasted from my email. I spelled it Weejee. Well, that was to delineate the power of your little witchcraft bullshit that you guys sit around doing. I've never seen people, grown men, pursue a religion that so emasculates you that makes you play with a doll. Like a little girl. Drama queen, little girl. Wow. So I'm going to read Isaiah 63:9. In all their suffering, he also suffered. In all their suffering, he also suffered. and he personally rescued them. In his love and mercy, he redeemed them. He lifted them up and carried them through all the years. But they rebelled against him and grieved his Holy Spirit, so he became their enemy and fought against them. There's 40 of us. Most of us are Christians, and there's a granny that prays with us too. And we may have a wall, and we pray, and it opens. The door opens, and we get what we need. Things you guys wanted covered up, we get it. Because God was there for you when you were suffering, Charles. And you rebelled against him. And so now he's fighting you. Because he's with us in our suffering. He's with the Nealys and the Millers and me and my family when we're suffering. And you love causing suffering. My granddad said, as lawmen and women, we relieve suffering caused by crime. That's the job. That's what you do. That's what's happening. Go see your dolly about it. Go see your Ouija board about it. You know, you like being a little girl. Go be a little girl and see if you get some answers. So, on top of the thing that we got this morning, she's not affiliated with the CIA in any way that we know of, and the FBI there's no relative of hers working for the FBI. But what I gotta, the caveat is, nobody wants to talk because you're killing people. People aren't stupid. They're not going to take the knife out of your hand and slit their own throat with it. Go see your little Ouija board and your dolly. If you want to know who's talking, who's helping me. You've had 6 years. Yeah, okay. And then this one, the harassment email, looked like the smoking gun to you on Justice Scalia's death. It doesn't look like it was a murder. Well, here's the thing. The harassment email is right here. You were going to send me home. You were going to harass the hell out of me. Make me think I'm going to be left alone. Panacea is your word. We like to create a panacea where she thinks everything's okay, only it's really not. And you think I was born yesterday like you, don't you? You've had all these years. No one has caught you in your crime more than I have. And I can't do it alone. So this thing, Justice Scalia was flag burning is covered protected speech. I don't like it. If I'm king, I'm going to hang the guy, but I'm not king. This is America. It's a free country. You can do that. The Constitution protects it. It's free speech. You can live in this country and hate it. You can hate everything about it. You're free to do that. You're free to say what you want to say. This is not slavery. That ended in the Dark Ages. I don't think they got the memo in Lubbock. Lubbock is all afraid the UN is going to invade. They might need to, being you get off on torture, torment, and starvation of women and children and exploitation. Human rights violations. The UN really doesn't think that's cool. Maybe they do need to. Maybe there's a reason Tom had said that. At the time, everybody thought he was a kook. Maybe he's not such a kook after all. Maybe he knew exactly what was going on over there and the danger that it could bring on that town if that was allowed. Maybe he partakes in it knowingly and knows somebody somewhere is going to put their foot down and go, yep, nope, you're not doing that. Somebody has. That's why we got this. So the guy says that. We got tormenting, torturing, starvation of women and children. He gets women, he puts a camera in a woman's home. He makes sure they have kids. Then he gets them fired. Then he hacks them. Then he watches when they apply for another job. Make sure they can't get one. Then they lose their house. Then he has the ex take the kids away because she can't care for them. He likes getting women all upset. And then he goes and rubs one out. And you gave control over to your offender right then when you did that. She has all the power over you. Because I could use that as an excuse to fail. Charles took all my money. I'm going to go rob a bank. Feel sorry for me. Please be, drama queen. I'm going to fail. And it's his fault. Nope. You don't hear me doing that at all, do you? I control how I act. I control my response to you. It's the only thing I can control. I can't control what you do. I can't control what David Robertson does. I can't control what Joe and Josh and Matt do. I can't control what Tulsa police do. I can't control anything. I control me. My perception of what you do. And let's find a way to make something good come from this. I can control that. You could have as well. Instead, you chose to give control over to your offender by becoming exactly like her, only worse. She didn't kill people, did she? Your older cousin that molested you. She controls you. You gave her that. You only control her when you choose not to stoop to her level. When you choose to do something good with something bad done to you, you can't control other people. You can only control what you do with it. That's it. She owns you. You're her bitch. You're still her bitch. She still rapes you, and you're still letting her. Every time you fuck with me. Because you chose not to go out and do something good with it. You chose to be exactly like her. Pathetic. Sick. Twisted. Bizarre. It's not normal to rape a little kid. It's sick. It's deviant and it's criminal. It's a sex offense. And yet you are doing the same thing. You did not choose to do something good with the bad thing that happened to you. You gave her control over you. Still. You're her bitch. She still rapes you and you let her. Because now you're a grown-ass man. Now you choose. You control it. Only you're not. You chose to continue to give her control. And now you're imposing that on me. You didn't keep your family problems within your own family like a dignified, high-class individual would do. You icked and slimed that all over everybody else's family. And I've chosen to put a stop to it. I wake up every day and I want to fuck up your crime. And nobody's done it like I have. Nobody you know has this kind of email. This and this. The smoking gun on Justice Scalia's death. William O. Ritchie said if he had died in D.C., there would have been a whole different set of procedures. Post-mortem procedures followed. That podunk hillbillies don't do over in Texas. Or do they? And they just didn't this time. It's corruption. He was asking those questions. The guy can think circles around you in his sleep. I assure you. He's a commander, not just he's not patrol. You know, patrol guys have to go get up every day and listen to, and she said this, and he said that, and we went over there, and then he slapped her, and then she slapped him, and then we all went over there, and then we all walked here, and then we say that, and they said that. That's a day in the life of patrol. I don't know how the hell they put up. I don't know. I couldn't do it. It would drive me nuts. Anyways, so this guy's not patrol. He's not detective. He's a commander he's a murder cop commander. And he knows good and well that had Scalia died in D.C., there would have been a different set of procedures followed post-mortem that Texas didn't do. And then now it's not just that. It's that Justice Scalia died in West Texas, not D.C., right when you were planning this. And he is very vocal about the First Amendment right to free speech. And you were about to perpetrate a fraud on his court. And he wasn't going to have that. Did one of his friends that was with him that day do this? Or help you do this? Yeah, I don't know. You answer the question. You know, maybe get your voodoo doll out and do a little podcast with your little voodoo doll. Talk about, you know, that. Here's what we did. We did it. You know, see if you can get some women to like you. You are not to contact me. You are not to contact me. I don't care what you think. I don't. Didn't ask. You keep talking to me like you think I care what you think, and I think you know I don't. You weren't asked. You were asked to get the fuck out of my life. And when you don't, we start quoting you more. She's not affiliated with the CIA. She doesn't have a relative with the FBI that we could find, but Mr. Perry, you keep killing people. So nobody's going to talk because you're a threat. Okay, go pray to your doll. Mike was drugged. I said it before anybody else said it. That was in May. That was in March. Mike was drugged. That's the circle part right there when I'm telling people. We all know who killed Mike. I'm sorry, Lucky, and tried to kill Mike. Mike was found unconscious. He slept through the whole murder. You framed him like you're trying to frame me for a murder right now. That we've all got that information too, right? This, it's not legal, but I'm going to have a car towed and sold before she figures that out. Anytime I have a loss, we start getting more recordings. I didn't, just today. She's not affiliated with the CIA. Doesn't have a relative at the FBI, but people aren't really talking. because they don't want to die. You tend to kill people that find out what you're up to. You have acts showing consciousness of guilt. And that is a problem if you want to do the insanity defense. This was recorded. You said it all over Manford. You like to brag. Here's what I can do and get away with. Here's what I can do and get away with. But the day you met me, that ended. And I didn't go to Zios. And I didn't call the Duvals. And I didn't shut the bank account down, David, when you helped yourself to it. And I didn't go dance. And you got friends asking me for cigarettes that don't smoke. And I didn't give them, they didn't get a cigarette. What are you going to do with the cigarette? Plan it at the murder you're doing? You guys have been doing that for a long time. You don't think I'm onto it by now? You're slow. So, that nobody else has a McNamara email. He's going to arrange a false arrest. You were going to do it to my son too, but you got caught because McNamara was over juvenile court. You got caught, so you did it. You just had to vary out the plan a little, didn't you? Right. Then Matt and Charles and Josh call and bother and bother and bother and bother and bother, and she never calls. And we know they're fucking with her car all the damn time because they go all over Manford and brag, look what we can do and get away with. Well, guess what? This person, this cop, may be Lucky or Mike. I'm not told this. I'm not told that for a reason. They're saying they're the ones harassing. They call us fucking constantly. We're about ready to call her in a protective order. You know when she's bothered us? Never. Same people that said, you know how many times I pulled up behind a house that wasn't my wife and watched the woman in the backyard? Never. You know how many times I've gone to a restaurant or sent my staff to spy on a woman that's not my wife? Never. It's weirdo. Right? You got caught on this right here. I'm thinking this is Manford. I'm guessing. I'm not told that, but because of other things that were said in Manford, I'm thinking this is Lucky or Mike. They're calling us and calling us and calling us and wasting our time and wasting our time and calling us and wasting our time. And she's the one, they're harassing her. There's no way it's not her harassing them. They're full of shit. Charles Perry's delusional. He thinks harassing women is a marriage. He thinks watching women on TV is a date. He thinks tormenting a voodoo doll is a date. He's alone. He's all by himself. He's a butt of joke. He's reduced himself to the butt of a dirty joke. And he's caught more than ever in his life. All that cover-up you did all your life ended the second you met me. Because nobody else has a McNamara email. Or that. We're going to tow her car and sell it. Or a Mike was drugged email. I have it. And sure shit he was. Confirmed. Right? Nobody else has a Fabian puzzle. You're the butt-in. That's all you are. You're just a bothering butt-in. Fabian and Hope intersect. And they intersect exactly where they're supposed to. Because you're butting in. But only for a time. But that causes that word to intersect exactly like that when it intersects. Right? Because God's going to use what you meant for evil for our good. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Boo and sadness denote the fear and the sadness you cause. And boo is a joke between my friend and I that I've known for a really long time. And the one saying they're trying to frame you for a murder. He knows there's no way I would do that. You don't think they did a thorough back... If they can dig into what you're doing, you don't think they dug into my life? And if I committed a murder, they'd know that. They would have put me in jail a long time ago. If they can dig and hear what you just said over and over, McNamara email, I'm taking her car, Mike was drugged, and they got me that in jail. Sin, they're trying to frame you for a murder. Perry needs his cover-up. He needs his lie. What does that say? A false arrest and death isn't going to vindicate him of stalking. It's going to prove he is. That is what he does. He's a harasser. He bothers people. Causes problems and crisis. Everybody's got to drop everything they're doing and deal with it. So he matters. And God hears our suffering. He suffers with us. And at that point, it's two different verses here. You had a choice. I'm with you in your suffering, and I'll rescue you personally, and I'll redeem you, and I'll lift you up and carry you through the years. I heard your suffering. I'm with it. I'm suffering too. And all their suffering, he suffered too. And so you end it. He ends it. He carries us. And then if you want to rebel against him after that, that's your problem. He'll fight against you. When we can't get information and we all pray and all of a sudden we get it, he's fighting against you. And you're seeing things happen you've not seen before. Because when you got 40 cops and a bunch of them are Christians and you got a granny and we're all praying, Lord, end the suffering. Lord, help us get what we need to end the suffering. Lord, help us. That we can't get this person to say whatever it is we want, whatever it is we need to get to lock you up so you can't cause suffering anymore. And then all of a sudden we get it. We've been having a hell of a time until we prayed. You got God fighting you with your voodoo doll. Go pray to your voodoo doll and your Ouija board about who these 40 cops are. You can't get a date. You can't be normal. You can't function at a normal level. You're not interesting if you can tell me, all you can do is tell me what I did all day. If you want someone to be interested in you, then you need to be interesting. Go work. Quit sitting around bothering people. Because when you bother people, we end up getting all this stuff here. That's the arrest report that said Mike Nealey had nothing on him. But a bruised, swollen right hand, which he had an IV in, so there was a needle in it. And the Morrissey. I just put something on my computer. A tentative date. I'm going to file a 12-1031. Motion to vacate on fraud. And you guys couldn't get on the phone fast enough to her. We got to figure out how we're going to deny it. Because she's a short order cook and that's a diner. Right? How much did you pay her? My guys know that to the penny. You want to frame me for a murder? Duly noted for the record, you want to frame me for a murder. Because it's guys that got what you just said, including this. I guess I'm going to have to come up with something better than it's frowned upon to deny her. We've already decided. And my guys are telling me, guess what? Not only did we think this, but we talked to a U.S. attorney somewhere in the United States of America. Good luck finding which one. He looked at your bank accounts and he goes, no question. They went at her. They're witness tampering. Her money went way the hell down. I'm not going to tell you where this U.S. attorney is. Her money went way down right around the time of Mike's trial. They're stealing her money. They're caught. You act like that's something to brag about. You don't have a date. You're alone. You're not wanted. And you don't have a cover-up. So why do you think that's something to brag about, Mr. Perry? Why is it that you find that something... You act like that's something you should be proud of. Explain why you think that's something you should be proud of. That you're witness tampering. That you are doing what we say. You're coercing. You're stealing grand larceny with intent to coerce. Conversion with intent to coerce. Those are RICO violations. So explain to me why you're proud of that. Why is it you're proud of that, sir? See, he's typing in my phone my computer, and people can't see that. He thinks that he's very, very proud of the fact that he peeps. I can see you, 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 I watch you, I like looking, I'm a peeper, so here's my trophy, I like it. But you're alone, nobody wants you, and it's a crime. And now you prove you're doing what I say you're doing. He's very proud of the fact that I'm broke. He's always throwing that in you're broke, you're broke, you're broke. Yes, because you're taking my money. How is that something that you need to be proud of? That is a crime. And you're alone, and nobody wants you. And you're caught. You're caught. When you fuck with me, you get caught. That didn't happen in your life ever until you met me, right? When you met me, you started getting caught every day. I just quoted everybody this morning. She has no affiliation with the CIA that we know of, and no relatives with the FBI that we know of. But I'm going to tell you, you're killing people. You're a threat. Nobody's talking. So why are you bragging about me being broke? You could see a major tank in her money right around the time of Mike's trial. That is evidence of witness tampering and coercion. Why would he do that if he had nothing to do with that murder? Acts showing consciousness of guilt. So go ahead and brag. You took my money. Oh, look what I can do and get away with. Are you getting away with it, though? You don't have a date. You're not getting away with it if we all know this. It's criminal activity. We all know this. So how is that you getting away with it just because you're not handcuffed yet? What makes you think you won't be handcuffed for that? You will. Write it down. Take it to Vegas and bet on it. You didn't think you'd be caught, and you are. More than ever in your life. Not a date. You're alone. Nobody wants you. How did you win? You need to explain that to us. We're like, what? This guy's missing a chip. He's one too many breaks shy of a load, and things don't click for him. Go ask your dolly why that should be impressive to us. It's not. You're caught. That's why. It's crime, and you're caught. So you tell us why you think that's something to brag about. You tell us, why is it something to brag about that you've got a peep and Tom problem? You can't get an actual real date with a real person. You got to watch women in the privacy of their home against their will and broadcast us and and this time you're caught. So how is this something you should be proud of? Why do you think that's a trophy? Why do you brag about it? I think that speaks to your mental illness. I think that speaks to all the reasons why you need to be locked up. I think that speaks to all the reasons why your wife probably should be too. Because she has the legal authority to get you the medical care you need. So do your attorneys. But nobody else has this. Nobody you've met has this. Where I've got information before you're trying to frame me for a murder. And I've got this puzzle that I got in jail. Not some random time in my life. It's not just any guy's name. It's Fabian's. And I got it in jail. Right up under your nose. You didn't control shit. You don't have that kind of power. See, other men I have in my life have power. You don't. You can't even be normal. You can't even go have a normal functioning day. I'm under extreme duress for a long period of time. Extended period of time, and I'm doing fine. You're the one that can't function. You're the one sitting around watching TV doing nothing. Fat, lazy, perverting around. You're the caught one. You're committing the crime, you're caught. And nobody else has that. McNamara email. Fabian puzzle. I'm going to have her car towed, even though it's not legal. Look, Manfred, what I can do and get away with. Yep. Mike was drugged. I said it months before. It's always before that I say it. So who's getting me that information? Go seek your voodoo doll. Go be all girled up, drama queen, and go to your voodoo doll and your Ouija board and ask them, who's helping her? Who's telling on me? And please send a memo out to everybody that when my friends ask me for a cigarette and they don't smoke, they're not going to get one. I didn't go to Zio's. I didn't close my bank account that you helped yourself to. I didn't call the Duvals. I didn't go dance when you wanted me to go dance. And I don't give cigarettes to my friends that don't smoke. Because they're going to take that cigarette and give it to you. I don't trust anybody because you trained me not to. Let's just all deal with reality here. When you try to get, you guys get all frustrated. If we do X, she'll do Y. And I never do. You're a job. I wake up every day and go, how can I fuck up his crime today? The goal is never, how can I get a date with the weird guy? That's never in my mind. My mind is always, how can I fuck up the crime today? How can I metaphorically kick him in the balls so fucking hard, his balls end up in his brain? That's why we have to repeat ourselves all the time. I've done it so much, you don't have a brain left. It's working. We're successful. I decided not to let you have control over my life. I don't commit a crime and then go around whining and crying. Oh, I robbed a bank officer because he's taking my money. Feel bad for me. Feel bad for me. Nope. Then I'm just like you. I'm not going to give you that kind of control. I control how I respond to what you do. My choice is kick his ass like nobody else has ever done that he knows. There's not going to be a date. My goal is to fuck up your crime. So when you guys have someone text me to ask me a question, and I answer the question, but not like you wanted me to, or you send some guy to me wherever it is I work or at a bar or wherever to ask me a question, and I never answer it like you want me to, please get a grip on reality. Let's all accept it. Here's the goal. Lock up the bad guy so we don't have to suffer anymore. It's been a decade. You ought to know what I'm going to do by now. I'm never going to answer your questions like you want me to. I always find out before. I have help. You don't know who that help is. It's not me. Maybe it's not the CIA. Maybe it's not the FBI. You're killing people. Nobody's going to talk. They don't want to take the knife out of your hand and slit their own throat with it. Dead Lucky, framed Mike, almost dead Cynthia. That's why. Nobody trusts you. You've taught us not to trust. Pavlov's dog. You ring the bell, here comes the dog to eat. You ring the bell, here comes, look, read it. Read about it. You train people what to do and not do. And I never answer your fucking texts from, I should trust this guy. Why would I? You've taught me not to. So I get a text about a question, and you guys think I'll go, oh, sure, and just tell y'all. Yep. But there's two things wrong with that. Number one is, you're not supposed to be talking to that person that texted me. Because we did say, don't call my family, don't call my friends, don't call my bank, don't call my car guy, don't call my landlord, because you're breaking legal privacy laws. You shouldn't even know who those people are, much less call them and tell them to ask me questions that they can then give that information to you. By law, I have the right to privacy in my banking and my financial matters. They do not have the legal right to give that information out. And if they are, they're breaking the law. But when you have one of them text me or call me and ask me a question that they're going to give to you the answer, and I won't answer it because I know what you're doing. The fuck planet, if I give the information out, I'm going to use it to fuck you over in court. Because you broke the law, even having that person ask me that. I know what people are going to want to know by themselves and what they're asking me because you want to know. My friends that don't smoke don't ask me for a cigarette. You want the cigarette. They don't want it. They don't smoke. You guys act like we're all stupid like you. You're about 20 bricks shy of a load. So let's all just deal with reality here. Reality is, I'm not going to answer the questions like you want me to. I never have. I never will. It's funny that you keep doing that. Let's all accept reality. Charles is delusional. He has an imaginary person in his head. Because everyone knows when he does X thinking I'll do Y, I do 523.51. Don't I? It's very consistent. It's a pattern. And you're irritating me, really, because you're just, get a grip on reality. What is reality? Charles has an imaginary woman in his head. He thinks I'm in love with them. He thinks wrong. Look at what I do all day. Every day, metaphorically, I get up and I kick him in the balls as hard as I can until they're up in his brain. And now we have to repeat ourselves all the time because he can no longer think. You have somebody text me. I'm going to text her and ask her what she's doing for a living. Maybe she'll tell you. Nope, you taught me not to trust anybody, so I don't tell anybody. You ought to know that by now. Keep up with us. Don't ask me to slow down. You need to keep up with me. I don't know what kind of people worship a god who makes them into a girl playing with dolls. Go get your doll and your little Ouija board and hold a seance and see if Satan will tell you who's helping me. We got God on our side. Most of us are Christians. When we hit a wall, we pray, and all of a sudden we get exactly what we want and what we need. To lock you up so you can't cause suffering anymore. Because the causing of suffering isn't coming from God, it's coming from Satan. That's your thing, isn't it? So, there's that. When you have somebody text me something that you want me to answer and tell them something to give to you, that's breaking the law. You don't call my bank, you don't call my insurance, you don't call my landlord, you don't call my car people, you don't call anybody. And you don't call my friends and family. And then y'all go around telling everybody, here's what we're doing. And then next thing it happens, I know about it. And then you're running around trying to figure out which one talked. Golly. So easy, it's not even fair. The day you met me, life as you knew it ended. It stopped right there for all of you. Because all that happens is stuff like that. She knew Mike was drugged 5 months before anybody else said it. They do depositions, and sure as shit, that's what the first responder said. He was treated with Narcan for drug overdose. You can't kill somebody if you're sleeping. We're getting him out, and you're fucked. You're going to have to pay. My guys are not going to ask the taxpayers to pay me for fighting your crime. They're going to make you do it. So be careful when you start wasting my time having to deal with your shit. When you cause drama, when you contact me, when you torment, torture, and cause a problem for me and cause hardship and all that, look back at the history. You don't get a date. You're not wanted. You're by yourself. You're alone. You get caught. We get that. Stuff just like this right here. As far as we know, she's not got any connection with the CIA. No relatives in the FBI, but nobody's talking because you're a threat. You kill people. You fuck with that. You fuck with me, you get caught. You fuck with me, you get caught. You fuck with me, you get caught. Because every day my goal is the same. Fuck up the crime. Once he's in jail, we don't have to do this anymore. There's no more dolls. There's no more seances. There's no more financial loss. There's no more, let's dip into our bank account and see if we can piss her off today. Get her to shut that thing down. There's no more, get her friends that don't smoke to ask her for a cigarette. There's no more, see if you can get her to say where she's working now. People you shouldn't call or know about. So what if that guy called? What if that guy told on you? You're the one that told him. You're the one that called him. You're the one that broke the law. You got caught. And I didn't answer your question, did I? I never do. Let's accept reality. I never have. I never will. We got to deal with reality. Or we're going to have X. Let's do X, expect Y. And what? Oh my God, all shocked and dismayed when she does 551.23-5. It's the same every time. I'm very predictable. If I know you want something, I'm not going to give it to you. I wake up every day, and however hard I can kick Charles Perry's balls, I want him off me. He's raping me. I want him off me. Write that down. He can no longer think. 6 doctors, elder care doctors, are pretty sure he's got a very, very serious degenerative disease. Because we have to say the same thing over and over and over and over, and he's still not getting it. He's your MRSA. MRSA is a deadly virus you can get in a hospital, a bacteria. He's yours, and it will kill you dead. So you got some big criminal organization, and you're all freaking out right now. How does she know all this? Who are these people? I'm going to tell you, you need to get rid of your dude that plays with dolls and watches TV all day and can't get a date to save his life. No power. He's alone. He's not wanted. He's just creepy. That's your MRSA. And he can't think past tying his shoe because I've kicked his balls up in his brain so many times. He can't remember. 5 minutes ago, I just said that. 5 minutes ago, I said that already. Yeah. Anyways, do what you do.